with a lot of outplay potential. His mechanics have been very good, so let's see what they can get done. I mean, Taliyah is a perfect example of a champ that Nafiri is amazing against because the seismic shove is so easy to avoid with your W. You can just kind of negate the combo there from Taliyah.
And in the second game in a row now, 2 for 2 in these games for Split 2, where Varus is the first pick on the red side. Such a staple there in bottom lane. You're guaranteeing laning power, has a lot of good laning partners. I have been informed by producers that this is the first Nafiri ever in North American Tier 1 history. Those of you guys out there who have been watching for a long time are probably not surprised because before the rework, nobody played Nafiri ever. Right?
Yeah, it's a fairly new champion that was very simplistic before the rework, and only very recently got a huge power boost with the ult and the W switching, and then the W now having that untargetability. So we'll see about that usage. Definitely going to need to use that versus a Vi Taliyah combo, because everybody else versus Vi Taliyah, you don't really have counterplay, and that is a classic combination. So we shall see about Keine and Sheiden if they're able to be super fearsome with that and roam around.
Now, one thing I'm worried about, man, looking at these first 3 picks on Shopify, where in the hell is the CC? Where is the setup?
Well, you got your Aurora ultimate for some slows from the Aurora.
Slows, okay, we got that.
And then it's going to come from the support in the top lane.
Okay, all right, well, it's going to need to, because I'm looking at these 3. The dog can throw knives. Ezreal shoots his little bang,
Don't worry,
bang.
there's definitely like a Leona in the future.
Okay.
Or something like that for the side of Shopify.
I'm going to trust you here. Because Vi Taliyah, that's great pick potential. Varus, Chains of Corruption, great pick potential. There's not a ton of like super hard like follow-up there on the Vi besides just the Taliyah. There's not a ton of AoE here, but there's still buttons. There's still go buttons. I need some go buttons.
Plenty of go
on
buttons.
Shopify.
All right, here. What's the last protection ban? The Nico. A little bit. I feel like it's definitely going to be Leona or Nautilus or something like that for the side of Shopify. Meanwhile, the Rumble also layered on here for Dig for Srtty. Definitely one Srtty feels very confident in. So the Vi also can do some setup for the Rumble. And let's see, Shopify reveal top lane plus, Leona or Nautilus or something.
Okay, what's it going to be? Do we slam the Ambessa and just try to fight Rumble here? Okay, looks like that's going to be the play for Fudge, saying he's ready to try to deal with that pick head on. But that does still mean we need that engage. There we go. There's the Leona. You called it. Nicely done on that. Ambessa does also give them a little bit of pick potential with a public execution from long range. But we've seen plenty of times before, you kind of need a little bit of setup for it. It's pretty easy to miss a lot of the times if your opponents aren't completely blindsided by it. Over on Dig, one last pick that we need to see. What will fill that support position? I am expecting an engage. We get an engage, the Rell for Isles.
Yeah, get that AoE set up for the Rumble. So it can be Vi starting it out, Rell coming over the top. And it is going to be another Brawl Flowers. With these lineups, we're going to have, I believe, a very good game for Fantasy with a lot of kills.
That's the best time.
Because this definitely looks like a scrapper for sure. And we get our first Nafiri ever in the LTA here. Fresh off some hotfix nerfs, but off a very profitable rework to the champion.
Yeah, for those of y'all who may have missed the notes on the rework, some minor number adjustments on the Q, which throws out those 2 daggers, on the E, which does your jump forward and scramble around in a little doggy circle. But the big change, your W and your R being changed around, the R now being that point-and-click jump onto a target that can no longer be intercepted by allies. You click the dude, you are going to that dude. The W, the even bigger difference, I think, Kobe, such a powerful buff to the Hound's Pursuit because it adds the 1 second of untargetability while still moving around. That is such an incredible outplay tool, especially against like what you were talking about, anything with any sort of a foreshadowing to it, like Taliyah's seismic shove.
By Taliyah.
You need to be asleep to be hit by that if your W is up. It is so difficult to lock this dog down.
It's
All right, let's do it. Back into the game. Let's see what these junglers are going to do. Sheiden versus Contractz. Contractz on that Nafiri. We're also excited to see.
He's deep already, Flowers. I like it.
Behind enemy lines with the dogs. Now, he only has his darkened daggers. Luckily, there's not a collapse in time to really do anything to him.
Okay. I wonder how did those dogs... no dog actually died there, right?
All dogs go to heaven, Kobe.
The mini dogs, because if you're mini dogs, level 1, you can't reset your mini dog. Okay, good. Still got all of them. And if you'll just stand and tank the camp, because if you try and walk away, then it will just target on your mini dogs.
So one interesting thing about this champion, too, when you're in the jungle, all of your abilities can be used to accelerate your clear speed. Even your defensive ability can summon extra pack mates temporarily, as well as give you bonus AD. But using it comes at the cost of, it's a 20-second cooldown, so if you get invaded, if you end up getting into a scrap afterwards and that button's not ready, this dog is very vulnerable.
And the second Q has execution damage, so you do want to use it like after smite. So you'll see people do that, smite first, and then get your second Q in there for the extra bonus damage. But early on, like you saw at the very first one, it also, the cooldown starts when you use the second one, so you just instantly use it. You don't kind of wait around because you want your cooldown to come back to try and optimize your clear a little bit there. And then the E, just jump over the walls. Now, the E is something that was one of the sizable hotfix nerfs, where the most recent one, they did nerf the cooldown early on by 2 seconds, which it still is amazing. Like, it was actually just completely broken before, where she could just constantly have mobility, constantly jumping around with it. So they did nerf that a little bit in the hotfixes, but still very powerful and still comparably a fairly short cooldown.
All right, Contractz with his level 3 has all three abilities now. Going for the invade. We'll find Sheiden, who's taking a little bit of extra time here on these chickens. Palafox, ton of damage there onto Keine, forcing a flash out of the Taliyah very early. Now with Taliyah under this level of pressure, that means Contractz is going to be more confident than ever, moving into the enemy jungle, squaring off against Sheiden here. Blast Cone to escape the second darkened dagger. Contractz still hanging around. You can see the control over the solo lanes from his laners means that it's so easy to get in the enemy face, counter jungle like this. It's still a little bit risky to try to fight for the red buff because they could still try to collapse. So instead, Contractz going to pivot a little bit, take the free camp, take the steal on the Krugs, and now come back to the red, see if maybe there's something there. But nope, that'll be secured by Sheiden.
Yeah, a little bit close on the timing there. Contractz had just finished the Krugs and come back over. But Sheiden, enough damage to finish it off and smite it himself to be able to at least save his own red. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, they were pushed up here for the Shopify duo lane side, but they're going to get their early recall off instead of messing around with them in the river.
The dog, also one of those few junglers that really, really likes the red smite because of the lack of innate CC in the kit. Just a very... I like how you mentioned it when the character was first released. Like, the design of Nafiri was, we just want a simple assassin character. So you don't need all this fancy stuff like CC or tricks. You just need the damage. And Nafiri has plenty of it. This champion will shred if he can get ahead of the curve of the game. I will be excited to see, like, how he wants to play this, if he's just going to try to power farm it till 6 to have the guaranteed engage mechanism there with the ulti. And there you can see that's what I was talking about, using the Hound's Pursuit to be able to accelerate your camp spear clear speed just a little bit with the extra haste, plus the AD and dog buff while it's active.
It's a nice damage bonus, and so later on into the game, once you have your ultimate, if you're going for a one-shot, you can pre-W towards someone that you're looking to full combo, but generally later into the game, you would rather save your W for an outplay. If the opponent has any sort of CC or any sort of meaningful ability, then you're going to want to save it for dodging that ability. But if you have someone in your sights that you know is locked
Isolated
down,
Varus or something,
and you just want to burst them, then yeah, you can W early for the extra big damage boost and then just go for a full combo on them.
It looks really good in a highlight reel, but even better is jumping in and then dodging a Chains of Corruption or a Seismic Shove or something like that. So still pretty quiet early game here. I hope it's not the monitors again.
Something's been gnawing on those monitor cables.
You know, I was having internet problems at my house a couple of months ago. I was like, man, what keeps going on? Every time I try to stream or play games, I keep getting all these weird ping spikes. And I had to call the internet guys, and they came over and looked at it. And the guy came back, he was like, hey, man, yeah, I figured out what it was. It's definitely a weird problem. Turns out, so you know how we had a whole bunch of rain?
I guess I always just duped him. Okay,
we're back in the game.
Let's get
All right. right. Okay. Thank you, Arcanine. You blessed the game from heaven to become unpaused. All right.
I feel like we're getting some backstory on some Flowers trauma at the beginning of your life.
Yeah. There's
this is where your trust issues always began.
There's some deep, dark things that lead a man to playing Skarner for a decade.
Yeah.
And it's
also, it was relevant because your story had to deal with the chords.
Yeah, it all comes
Anyways,
back
this
to
game.
these damn cords malfunctioning. All the cords should be working for our computers on stage now, though. So we've still got ourselves a dead even game. 10 seconds until the first Void Grubs spawn, and it looks like Dignitas is interested, but Shopify also turning their eyes to the topside river.
This is perfect because in draft we promised a bloody game, Flowers.
Okay.
We're delivering on the promise right now. Right.
Let's get some blood in the river.
Some grub blood.
Yep.
Purple blood will run.
The rivers will run purple with grub blood.
This is one of the things, though, Seos and Contractz kind of highlighting that the support play with jungle has been their best part. Let's see, though.
One grub for Shopify.
Second charge for Contractz on his smite is coming up right now. So he has the second charge to protect these grubs.
Second grub secured without needing a smite. This should be all 3 grubs for Contractz and Shopify Rebellion. Nicely played.
So we did say, we actually didn't specify what type of blood would be spilled in this game.
It was grub.
It was grub blood.
Grub
Less
blood.
exciting, but still
relevant. Something.
All right, so let's see about this. Halfway to level 6 for Sheiden for the Vi.
Okay.
And we're always looking for Vi combos, with Taliyah especially. Aurora is kind of annoying because it's a very mobile champion, but maybe we can pass through, get some summoner spells. The other thing about Nafiri, though, because this is our first LTA or LCS Nafiri ever, is she scales quite nicely. So you always want to keep up your farm here on the Nafiri. Going to be doing a lot of damage, and Contractz has done just that. That's why Void Grubs are so nice, and so many junglers really prefer the Void Grubs because your individual reward is a lot better than the Dragons.
Yeah.
Just with the golden experience, but is going to accelerate him, so now has access to the ultimate. And we'll see how fearsome he can be. Once again, ultimate does land onto Bvoy there.
Unfortunately, though, for Dignitas, there was no way for them to combo that together meaningfully enough to get the kill. Yes, you hit the chains. Yes, Isles has the follow-up with the stun, but it's way too much later. They can't really do anything to really threaten Bvoy. He still has both summoner spells here, too. Would love to stick around long enough to clear most of these minions away. Does need to sidestep the Piercing Arrow. Last Mystic Shot will pick that up, and Bvoy can go ahead and take his recall now. No mana left to work with, very little health, not a whole lot of reason to stay in the lane any longer, but Sheiden's moving in, smites him to interrupt that last little bit of the recall, but Sheiden knows that he can't just fly in here. He will get locked up before we can guarantee the one-shot underneath the turret, but now they're ready to follow it up, and there's the first blood. They even get the money over to Tomo. Isles is burning down. Can Dignitas try to get their support out? It doesn't look like it. Oh, no! Isles, he's still shielded. If anybody would have stayed behind to protect him, surely they would have been able to get him away. Run, Isles, run!
They want to give it to
He's
Palafox.
trying to get out. He's trying to get out. They want to give it over to the Aurora. The weirding misses. Isles is running him around in a circle. He wants to try to get away. He's finally going to die to the Aurora. Meanwhile, back over to the mid lane, it's Contractz versus Keine with a little bit more damage coming in as Contractz jumps over the wall. That dog is hungry, and he takes his first bite out of the enemy mid.
Isles used up so much of Shopify's time and Palafox's time on the top side of the map that Contractz is able to get the counter kill on mid lane and burned Kaine's flash too. The beginning of the Contractz 1v1 there with Keine, I feel like we want to get some earlier info on it even. Maybe we'll get a little replay there of how he started that off, because this is our highlight, Flowers. This is our focus. We wanted to see Contractz ripping it on a carry jungler here on the Nafiri. He does that. They get the kill into mid lane. The Nafiri gets one, and definitely well worth it there. Let's see, though. Isles now back at it. Gonna go ahead and face check Seos. He sees the ward go down, instantly can take it.
Okay, both our junglers on the board. I like this. Both of them trying to get involved, get a little bit active with these big playmaking ultis as Dignitas clearing out some vision down here. eyes on this bottom side Drake, I would have to assume, as we do have nothing up there on the top side of the map for another 45 seconds or so. However, the next set of grubs will be spawning soon, so doesn't look like anybody's actually too particularly interested in the dragon at all. Let's take another look at how the plays went down. Here's Keine face checking the dog.
Yeah, that is a very rough way to any of these ways to start. Face check it. So he actually was able to just jump right over there as well. Since you face checked, you got such an early lead. Contractz able to land everything. The Qs plus the E and W forward even, just for the extra damage there as he goes in with the ult. So huge stuff to get an early kill, but mid lane.
Okay, Sheiden jumps in, finds Seos, chains of corruption to follow it up. Defensive solar flare means Dignitas cannot follow up further in order to secure the kill. Still a very slight lead for Shopify Rebellion as Contractz fires back a little bit, but those grubs have spawned, Kobe. Remember, it was 3-0 for Shopify on the first set, and they're looking to do the same again.
This is why that kill was so big, though. Contractz has Eclipse done. Sheiden has ultimate ready, though, so ultimate being able to set up here as you teleport Srtty on over, who also has Rumble ult.
Okay, Contractz has to be careful about this Rumble. Heating up a little bit here as Isles is over the wall, ready to follow up too. Shopify would love to grab at least just one grub to get the grubbies, the little grub mites to spawn on the turrets. Contractz jumps in, steals one of them away, and now Srtty's been caught in the pit, has to flash out just to try to escape the true shot barrage over the top, nearly lets the Ignite do the trick. And Shopify, with some patience, end up getting 5 out of 6 grubs. Tomo getting caught out by Palafox here in the mid lane, has to use his flash or surely would have died to the follow-up there from Seos. Shopify Rebellion coming out on top again.
Nafiri looking like it's going to have a good game here. Contractz is able to sneak around back in, gets both of those other 2 grubs, so they get up to their 4 for the extra Void Might spawn, allowing Fudge here to do a lot of extra damage here to this turret. Plus, them being able to chase the rest of them out really sets up for the next possible kill, because no flash on Srtty, no flash on Tomo now after the mid lane play that Palafox made as well. And Shopify only need one more kill to get that feat of strength for the 3 kills. Contractz here right back out to it, but he's the same level as Srtty, the same level as the enemy top laner.
Now this is the first Drake focused so far this game by either team. Contractz is seeing if maybe you can just toss the Dark and Daggers over the wall, cheese it away with a damage over time and a slightly mistimed enemy smite. Pretty hard to do, so Dignitas is still going to secure that for themselves. If we're not counting the one individual single lonely little grub, that is the first neutral objective claimed by Dignitas this game. So still a little ways to go, but honestly, very close game still overall.
Yeah, definitely a very close one. And still, we'll see about this Vi ultimate from Sheiden, if they can get it paired with either the Rumble or the Taliyah. You know, either one would be a good one for them to be able to combo somebody. Is always really hard, though. Contractz, you see how confident he is with this champ and the ability to avoid so many spells. With the W constantly going for invades with Seos here, so with the support at his back, takes away Raptors, leaves behind the deeper vision. One of the wards will get cleared out here by Sheiden, but not the other.
And it's just so hard to punish Contractz like this, particularly when you're looking at the composition from Dignitas. I mean, Srtty can't catch you no matter what. He's Rumble. If Sheiden even tries to ult you with Vi, you can just immune when he's going to slam you with the ulti and walk away from that. You're always immune to Taliyah shove. The only thing that can really catch you that's not got such a indicator that it's so easy to reactively dodge it would be a Chains of Corruption from Fog. I mean, it's just so difficult for Contractz to get punished as long as he's really aware and ready to react with this new Nafiri.
Should be an exciting comp to watch play out, too, since they have some explosive solo laners here with Palafox and Fudge on the Aurora and Ambessa. Definitely a ways down in the rest of the game, though, if they can get some outer turrets down and open up some more room to play with here. Keine now has finished first item for himself, and the Taliyah, one more reset here for him to get back out, but Taliyah could start making some of those moves to the rest of the team as well with the ultimate ready.
Hey, Fudge just getting this wave, crashed up here into the tier 1 turret. Gets a little bit of bonus damage there thanks to the grubs, but the turret's still got plenty enough health to continue hanging on. Shopify gold lead up to almost 1,000 right now. The plus 500 individual lead for the solo lanes in the jungle, but a slightly larger lead actually back the other way for Tomo, who is the lone Dignitas player to have a kill so far. Does have his own first item completed with the opportunity there. Going for the big lethality hits as Kaine's having to flash away back over in the mid lane. The feat of warfare is already secured as Shopify make their move and pick off Tomo. That one player I'm talking about that had some gold, they shut him down.
Yeah, Ambessa just rips him apart there. Fudge takes him out, and they can get back to top lane there to try and catch the rest of the top lane wave. Meanwhile, Shopify with Contractz chasing the rest of the defense out here from the bottom side. That outer tower is going down very quickly. Palafox should be able to acquire it, so that's first tower also achieved. That is the feats all for Shopify. Already they've got the extra bonus.
Shopify, man, the early game feeling really good now, 2,500 ahead. We do have the Rift Herald spawning in about 10 seconds. Dignitas want to try to control this topside river. They need to get something back here. Nothing has gone their way in quite a while. Herald spawned, but it's not like they have enough control to just immediately start something up. Keine is in the bottom half of the map. Remember, he lost his flash. They're in that bottom lane potential engage. Fudge forcing Srtty back with the help of Palafox. They get another flash. So now both solo laners of Dignitas have no flash available to get away from Shopify if they want to try to fight for this Rift Herald. Over on the Shopify side, every summoner spell is up except for Palafox's TP. I feel like they are so much better equipped for an upcoming fight.
And I really like how Seos is already integrating with the team. You can see him positioning very aggressively in a lot of these plays, playing forward, with Contractz, with the solo laners as well. He's done a good job of putting out enough pressure as Leona to get extra vision without sacrificing his actual body in the play. So decently good indicators so far for Shopify here.
Yeah.
Incorporating him into the lineup.
And I mean, back in Split 1, we even heard, like, from the players, from the analysts talking about this day. Hold on, we don't have time to hear anything right now other than the sound of Io's body hitting the floor. Sayo is taking a kill on that one. 4-1 now for Shopify. But yeah, for a team that we didn't get to see a lot of games out of in Split 1, for a team that did have issues with not having Seos here, not being able to play with him, now that they're all on the same page, now that they've got everybody together, their first game here in Split 2 is starting off really good.
Yeah, and whenever a support is added to the team, I'm like, yeah, everyone's thinking about, oh, how is their duo lane going to be? But really, I always want to think about how is their jungle support going to be, and it has looked very good so far this game. So definitely high marks for them. Immediately after the Rift Herald, going to head on down to try and contest this dragon. Contractz jumping over very quickly here. Looks like Palafox does not have teleport, so Palafox is going to have to walk.
Okay, Isles taking a little bit of damage there from that Nafiri. Dignitas falling back away from the Drake. They've got it down to about 2,000, though. Will heal up just a little bit. It's another TY for Leash moment. Shopify did it the first time on the second set of grubs. Now they're doing it again on the second Drake. Dignitas is just doing the hard work for Shopify to show up and take the credit, man. This feels so bad for Dig.
That one was interesting to me because of the teleport difference, where Palafox did not have it on the Aurora up here. But Srtty did, and so I was thinking maybe Dignitas actually choose their moment there, and they instantly go for a Vi ult, they combo on somebody, they teleport really early on the Rumble to get Rumble down there. Since that dragon was fairly low, and it would at least take some time for Palafox to walk the duration down to the fight, but they did not choose that moment. And since you don't choose that one, it feels like it just gets consecutively more and more difficult to actually make your stand in the game at one of these objectives, because that allowed Shopify to just get Rift Herald plus run all the way down and steal your dragon from you. Definitely going to be a bit of a momentum killer there for Dignitas, who already were kind of having a little bit of a rough start there.
Yeah, it feels like we're not seeing any killer instinct from Dignitas here, really. Shopify, once again, looking for another play. Srtty, just, there's no way out, dude. He's just 100% shredded by this Nafiri, who's getting really close to having that second full item power spike as well. It just feels like when you're looking at Dig, you're not seeing those Vi Taliyah plays. You're not seeing a Weaver's Wall set up in a side lane for a big engage coming out from Rell or something. We're not seeing huge efficacy of these equalizers. Fudge jumps into the middle of everybody now, has to flash flash back away as Dignitas was ready to turn on him and burn him. And so Fudge loses both summoner spells there. Not exactly the outcome he wanted, but still not a death.
Yeah, I think, exactly. I think he's happy to get out of that one. Oh, there's a lot of these teleports, Flowers. Once you click that button, you're like, oh, I need to get out of this one. But you still have to take the ride in, and he does escape with his life.
Teleports are like people who are scared of roller coasters but decide to get on them, and once they're latched into the roller coaster and it's going up,
I like
no,
that.
I think I reconsidered. No, you're still going up there.
I like that.
There's no way out at that point. That roller coaster for Fudge, it was a little rickety. It didn't pass safety inspections, but he managed to survive.
He didn't get hurt.
Yeah, he's fine. He walked off. He's like, okay, I'm not doing that again, but I'm all right. Now, the problem is for Dignitas, things continue bleeding further and further away, and now with another turret under pressure, not even under pressure, that thing is underground, man. Another objective taken by the side of Shopify. 3 turrets to nothing. 1-1 on Drags, 5-1 on both kills and grubs, up 4,000 gold. 2 minutes until our next Drake spawns. Otacon is on the map, but he is in the top side river instead of the bot side, so opposite ends from that Drake. Can't just walk right next door and grab both objectives back to back. Isles and Keine trying to stay together to clear out some of this vision. It's very dangerous for Isles to clear out vision on his own with this Rell, because if they're waiting for him, he's just insta-dead. But again, Dignitas, it just feels like they're never anywhere first, and I want to see more proactive play out of them.
Yeah, let's see about that coordination. Sheiden here onto the crab, but
Tomo, he's just done immediately. Shopify go in and find the enemy AD carry. Now Isles and Sheiden looking to keep the fight going, but it ain't going to work out in their favor. Contractz resetting here a little bit. Has to use that W to make sure that he stays safe. Hits another Darkened Dagger on the Keine as Fudge is ready to come in over the wall here with a public execution. Forces the flash out of the Taliyah as Dignitas full retreat. Contractz keeping the pressure on Srtty. He arrived with a teleport, but wasn't able to get anything back for Dig, so now still full resources, but zoned away. A nice equalizer to burn these health bars. Low, great shot from Srtty. Flash Electro Harpoon to finish off that last little bit of damage on Seos, but it's not going to deter Shopify Rebellion. They instead move over to the Otacon pit. They're going to start this up 4 men strong. Now Tomo's back alive, but he's stuck into the base. It is a Hex Tech Rift, so Tomo will be able to join the rest of Dignitas much more quickly than otherwise. Keine finally going to drop a Weaver's Wall as Isles and Sheiden jump into the fight, and Contractz has to try to get away. Another shutdown going over to Srtty, and Fudge melts. Big Dig has arrived to Summoner's Rift here in this game. They will take a couple of clutch shutdowns. They will steal away the Otacon, and they will show they got some fight left in them.
Dignitas been getting pushed around all game, Flowers, and they make their stand. It starts with Srtty just making a counterplay himself. He wants to get a straggler kill. He sees Seos. He lays down the ultimate, wants to get the kill while he didn't have any flash. He goes in, and off of that support kill, it feels like Dignitas, all right, fine. Now's the moment. We're going to actually make this contest at the Otacon while their magic-resistant armor is shredded, and it's a very nice Taliyah ult, and Isles gets the engage right up the middle as they go in. So Shopify just completely get destroyed right there by Dignitas, who also are going to grab this Otacon buff. Let's see what they do with it. Looks like they're just going to get their dragon for free on live right now with that Otacon buff. So some much needed W's there for Dignitas.
That is such a massive moment for this team. I was being critical earlier saying that we hadn't seen them be proactive. We hadn't seen the Taliyah combo. We hadn't seen the Weaver's Wall used in a way where it really set up a good team fight for him. And right there, yes, it felt like a late first big Weaver's Wall, but that was huge from Keine.
Yeah, definitely was. And I really do feel like that moment was Srtty seeing Seos going over to the Otacon, and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go for a play myself. He uses his ult, he uses his flash, he gets one, and it kind of like woke up this team almost. And Dignitas kind of rally behind that play. Let's see if it will be enough, though, Flowers, to rally back in this game, since they are still facing the deficit, fighting against Shopify here. And you are still facing a Nafiri that had a very good early game. So you're going to have to watch out for some of these engages.
Okay. Dignitas want to make their move on Palafox, who goes between worlds to provide himself an escape mechanism. Seos having a flash to get himself out as Dignitas, they're still using this momentum. They're still playing aggressively while they have these false lives, while they finally have this advantage in tempo here in the mid game after stealing away the Otacon.
Yeah, that's exactly what you have to do. Continue to stay proactive. When you have your Otacon buff, they try and use it. They don't actually get a kill, but they do get a summoner spell. So able to get at least the Leona flash. Of course, he does have Hex Flash, but last time Leona did not have flash. That's what led to Srtty getting the kill and then getting the Otacon, so maybe they can open it up again there. We also saw on screen again, there was an attempted like fishing Taliyah seismic shove on Nafiri. That always gets W'd. Easy there for Contractz, no problem. Meanwhile, the vision on Baron is leading to a little bit of uneasiness on Dignitas, rightfully so. Isles comes over to try and replace some vision for themselves.
Okay, Isles want to just make sure that he's not ever too far away from anybody else on the team. Again, just very dangerous to potentially be caught out. Contractz still wanting to play so aggressive on this Nafiri. You love to see it. I especially love to see when you have a high damage type of jungler paired with one of these engaged supports, so that when those two have a gank squad going around, it just feels like the perfect recipe for setting up a pick, setting up something that could be a real game changer.
100% agree, Flowers. Want all of my supports to pick engaged supports.
Yes, please pick something that will lock up the enemy guy so I can kill him.
All right, let's take a look at this 1-3-1 from Shopify, though, because they've got both side laners pushing out there. Fudge taking care of bottom side. Meanwhile, Palafox already shoved this top side wave into tower. He's going to get his reset off. And they both do have their teleports, so continuing to try and get those side lane pushes first, so they have the early moves. So far, it has normally resulted in deep vision for Shopify behind the Baron up in that red quadrant, which still does exist. A lot of these wards still standing from that last pass, so they do have options here to try and look for some picks, maybe look for some deeper teleports. As we mentioned, both of theirs are available.
Okay, Keine just going to continue clearing all these waves out. Less than 2 minutes till our next Drake. The fact that the first Drake this game happened so late, I think just a little bit after 12 minutes, it was after both sets of grubs had already been fully claimed, means that the general soul tracker, soul pressure that we expect in a game is just always going to be that much further behind. Even if Dignitas can secure the next one, it's still only soul point, which means early as possible, you're going to be looking at, what, 33, 34 minutes soul? That's not nearly as impactful as one that occurs, 8 minutes earlier than that. Even if it is going to be the Hex Soul, is very powerful, is very effective, I still feel like these dragons might not have the same attention on them that they would in another game state.
All right, side lane a little bit dangerous here as some trailing members, Seos and Contractz here, do go, oh, didn't actually quite see the wall. There we go.
Oh, there you go. Eat the board.
Should be able to back off, no problem there, though. Meanwhile, moving in. See if they can actually find the pick. The wraparound from the other side here is going to get scouted out. Plenty of wards.
Okay. Both daggers dodged. Isles preventing any early unnecessary damage from that one. Fudge, keep your eyes on him here for an angle on this flank public execution. Dignitas all grouped up together now as Srtty joins with the team, wants to start buffing up that heat bar a little bit. Fudge hit with a piercing arrow, but nothing more. And it's Shopify with control over the river. 15 seconds till the Drake. Palafox backing away as a root onto Seos. Follow-up Solar Flare on the Keine doesn't do a whole lot. Seos the only one taking meaningful damage here, down to about half HP on the Leona. Srtty scrapping back and forth with Fudge. Palafox again just trying to go in for some serious burst. Keine down to 1/3. Contractz stepping forward, threatening here with the Nafiri. Remember, again, if he uses that ulti, teammates no longer block it. It's very strong as Fudge constantly putting pressure on the enemy team. If they try to step up into this brush, he's going to jump out on the Ambessa, try to go for a quick combo, quick chunk of damage. Srtty again getting chunked by Palafox. This is his only job in the fight. Every single time somebody walks up, he does the QE combo over the wall, tries to get a little bit of damage, force him back. Isles, speaking of a little bit of damage, that was multiple little bits of damage. That's a lot of damage, forcing him all the way back with no big engage mechanism. He's already gone, and so is the Drake. Between worlds from Palafox, trying to catch out Srtty, but again, without the Leona ulti, without something more, it's so hard to lock these guys down with a pretty CC-like comp.
Yeah, poke damage traded across, but in the war of attrition, it is Shopify Rebellion that do win out, getting their second dragon, evening up those objectives. There was a moment for Dig, Flowers, when they had burned the Leona ultimate and chunked Seos to 50%. they did have a bit of an advantage, and the Varus ultimate comes up back quicker than the Leona ultimate does, so they're kind of looking for that timing.
Yeah.
But by the time that timing came up, Keine had been chunked to 50%, and Isles had also been chunked to 50%, and they could not go for the small window, so Shopify, in the end, still are able to get another objective, and very close to getting the death cap for Palafox on that Aurora. Can be a devastating ultimate there for those big flanks.
Yeah, Palafox does so much damage with these snap trades of just the QE combo, and you can see there's nobody on the enemy team that can really face check it and afford to tank it. Oh, speaking of face checking, we got a bit of a problem here from Contractz. He has to use the W, then he has to flash still to try to escape. Now here comes the Weaver's Wall. It still knocks him back a little bit further. Seos and Palafox trying to get away now too, as Dignitas may have overextended. The weirding connects onto Srtty, takes him down to 25% HP. Shopify Rebellion barely getting away from that one.
Seos is the freaking GOAT! Did you see that Zenith Blade? He Zenith Blade Keine off the Taliyah wall, and Keine had to flash over the other side. He saved his teammates and was able to earn the Dignitas mid laner's flash right there. That was a quick play. I believe it was the Zenith Blade from Seos that was able to knock him off the tower there.
Wow, man, that was so close for Contractz. That can quickly turn into such a different game state if the dog gets fully caught there, if he just doesn't manage to get away. But now, speaking of getting fully caught, got to be careful about that one. Nice sidestep there on the seismic shove. Again, using the iframes. Such a powerful tool, dodging away from any of those telegraph spells. 1,500 gold lead still for Shopify, but that's significantly less than what they were commanding earlier on in this game, what felt like 3,500 type of a gold lead. Dignitas still definitely has a chance in this one. 2.5 minutes until our next Drake is live. Tomo's going to be the target as Palafox goes in between worlds. Tomo having a flash, a way to survive that, as now a little bit of additional damage back onto Sheiden. Isles with a disengage. Sheiden going all the way in, but he's separated from the rest of the team. Contractz again with a Hound's Pursuit, getting himself out of danger, making sure that he does not fall. Shopify, however, has taken a ton of damage on 3 separate health bars. Fudge and Seos, still the healthy ones, separated from the rest of the team. Remember that these are the only 2 players that have meaningful CC on this squad. So now, Fudge is going in with a public execution on Srtty. Wants to find a little more on him. Contractz nearby, may be ready to follow up, but with a Weaver's Wall defensively, Dignitas arrives yet again in time to save their team.
So many people just getting chunked here, but not actually going down. The battle now is going to provide them a way into the vision here for Baron. Fudge now level 17 on that Ambessa, but they could not finish anything off. The Weaver's Wall from Keine comes in to peel for the rest of the team.
Ooh, Sheiden. He will walk up there. He sees the red silhouette in the brush. That's going to be multiple red silhouettes now. Fudge jumping forward, but needs to be a little bit careful. Still has half the cooldown remaining before the public execution is once again ready. Dignitas stepping back up, further forward into their own jungle. Solar Flare lands on Keine. Palafox over the wall, tons of damage down on the enemy mid. Needs a little bit more, ain't gonna find it. Keine surviving, Seos very low. Srtty tried to cook him up here with a Flame Spitter. Seos barely getting away. Isles wanted to go for the Flash Shattering Strike, but he gets the Ignite, and it still works out. Isles making the kill happen. Now Srtty ready for Contractz, who was looking for an entry point here on the side of the fight, does not get it. Srtty now needs to be a little bit careful about those Darkened Daggers flying through on the back end of the trade. Palafox again just smashing him with the weirding, but took some damage of his own. Fudge, public execution, ready to go again if he can find a target for it. True Shot Barrage hits 3. Kobe, we are seeing so many spells, so many ultis, so many fights, so many low health bars, but even when there's a kill, nobody has enough of an advantage to push it into something after.
What a scrap, Flowers, this entire game. Just trading cooldown after cooldown, and we're 23 seconds away for the Dragon arriving. With the Hex Gates, we should be able to reset and have another fight.
All right. Okay, here we go. Dragon in 14 seconds. Dignitas looking to arrive slightly faster to the bot side river, but with Contractz on the Nafiri, very, very scary here. Has a fully evolved Super Boots. Dodging away there as Sheiden tries to jump in with the ball breaker. Sheiden, full commit onto the enemy jungler. He knows the Nafiri no longer has the defensive spell. Contractz looking to get away. Sheiden's going to drop first. Contractz staying alive with a shield reset on the second cast of the ulti as he re-engages onto the enemy lines. Fudge trying to get away off to the right side at the same time. Shut down for Seos. A 2-for-1 trade for Shopify. But their jungler is low. Enemy jungler is dead. Shopify will maintain control over the bot side river.
Yeah, Contractz immediately recalling there to try and reset and get back out to Baron instead of the Dragon. They don't want to waste their time by the Dragon. They're going immediately to the top side of the map. We'll see after the replay, though, how that turns out. Now here, the reason they go for this, Contractz W used now, so Sheiden wants to use his ultimate while that ability is down to lock him down for the Rumble ulti, but he's so deep in the rest of the team, and Fudge goes for the counter initiation. So Fudge actually takes the 3 members away from it. Here we go.
All right, Dignitas wants to try to stop the Baron. Massive amount of damage. They're going to Seos in the execution with a rain of arrows. Tomo working together with his mid laner and support to pick off the enemy support in time. The Baron is down to about 3,000 HP. Shopify Rebellion do not want to leave this one away as Isles is ready to go in here for the crash down. Contractz and Palafox trying to finish it. Baron is going to be secured by the Nafiri, but now Contractz has to try to get back out of the wall, and Sheiden's ready to stop him before he can go through the Hex Gate. Dignitas, they may have lost the Baron, but they will get 2 back in response.
Oh, I love it. This game is insanely scrappy. Constant fights. Dignitas aren't done there. Flowers are going to get the mid tower. They're going to get the Dragon as well afterwards in payment. And it's going to be about how well can Shopify actually use 3 Baron buffs. The key factor is they do have 2 of the Baron buffs on each of their solo lanes here for split. Oh, actually, Fudge does not. Fudge was... It looked like Fudge did not get one. So Fudge
may have still been dead during when it was claimed.
His death timer must have been too long to just barely not be able to get that one. So, okay, that actually greatly reduces their split push power, though. Palafox still has teleport and has his. Holy moly, let's take a look at it. It's the Chains of Corruption that sets it all up.
Yep.
Change into full seismic combo. Nicely sniped there by Dignitas over the side of the wall. But since they don't have their jungle here, their smite here, Contractz is going to go back in. Palafox, he goes for his ult down. Isles gets his W, and it actually Contractz and Palafox both dodge it to get into the back of the pit and try and finish that one off. And then Palafox actually snaps right back. So quick movement from him on the Aurora, but
yeah,
it is just the Seos kill and the Contractz kill and trade for the payment. Yeah, it's kind of like, Dignitas got a decent amount off of that with the mid tower plus the Dragon getting picked up. And honestly, doesn't seem like Shopify will get to do too much during their Baron buff.
I was watching the death timer. The Baron, when it was smote, Fudge still had 2 seconds.
2 seconds
so off
away.
by 2 seconds from being able to get that buff. And like you said, pretty big drop in the efficacy of what you can do with that when now, hey, that's our guy that wants to be separated from everybody else now without the purple buff. As Shopify will continue moving up as a unit into enemy territory here. Isles, yes, it looks like he could be in a bad spot, but he's Rell. He'll just crash down over the wall. He's fine. And then Shopify now pushing down bottom lane. They've got the wave here. They've got it baroned up, but Dignitas has scrambled enough troops nearby to make sure that Shopify can't just try to force this through. It's still a 2,500 gold lead for Shopify. Back over in mid, Srtty will be left to try to defend it, but with Contractz already here, with them having 5 Void grubs, it should be enough damage to guarantee the kill onto the tier 2 in mid. They will secure that one. Now with another wave about to crash into bottom lane, Fudge and Palafox want to put the pressure onto this as well. If you could walk away with grabbing 2 tier 2 turrets, you'd feel pretty good about it, I would have to think, considering the way you got the Baron. But Dignitas, they're going to stop Shopify from taking any more. But like I say, 2 tier 2s feels good.
It is. It's like it's a pretty decently close trade in the end, even though it does put a lot of pressure with the Dragon Soul coming up next. And it is a Hex Tech Soul, which is very annoying and very powerful in the hands of a Poke Varus. That super long range proc of it might be a very big determining factor. So we'll see in 2.5 minutes here as they get right back down to it, because that will be the final determiner. There is a Dragon Soul coming up about 20 seconds ahead of the Baron that is going to come up next as well. So there's a little bit of a timing window there where Dignitas have way more pressure towards the bottom side of the map, and Shopify wouldn't be able to answer with the pressure on the opposite side. So would have to kind of keep that in check and at least keep vision for themselves.
Checking in, because we're expecting this massive battle here in about 2 minutes, there are some pretty important items that are up. You can see Guardian Angels active on both the Ambessa and the Vi. You have the Seeker's Arm Guard unbroken for Palafox's Aurora. So many of these like one-shot, one-use type of items that can really be game changers in a team fight. And I'm hoping that everybody has pressed their tabs, checked their scoreboards, making sure they're aware of the situation that they're finding themselves in. because oftentimes these can be the difference makers in moments like these. If somebody wasn't paying attention, if somebody overcommits onto something that's just going to get back up because of Guardian Angel or a Stasis, can really, really backfire, as Chains of Corruption not going to get a whole lot from Tomo there. Dignitas continue to try to contest the wave as Palafox goes in between worlds. Public execution from Fudge into the middle of everybody, but he's all alone. Has to flash back away. Nice solar flare landing. Isles taken so close to death. Has to flash out. As Shopify, they might not have got any kills. They will force everybody from dig back.
Yeah, what matters after that fight is flashes, traded. Fudge uses his for the 2 carry flashes, both Tomo and Keine using theirs. And since the ultimates should probably be back up before the dragon, but the flashes won't be, I think that really is the biggest deal right here. No flash for either the Varus or the Taliyah is a huge, huge objective win.
And I really like that timing from Shopify, taking it exactly like you're saying, where you're still going to have the 1 minute to get your ulti back before the objective, but there's no way that flash will be back in time. Fudge is going to face check up Brush. This is not what they needed. All the work they put in to get the Summoner Spell advantage. That was way too close to losing the Guardian Angel. Fudge surviving thanks to the shield on Maul of Malmortius, keeping him going in that, wow, way too dangerous face check.
Ooh, yeah, Ma and Eclipse, and able to jump his way out there just barely, because that's the one flash that they did use in that play.
Yup.
And so if he lost his Guardian Angel and his life there, that would have been a nice comeback for Dignitas, but they're unable to finish him off, so it is going to be the Shopify Dragon. And now we're at full dragons.
3-3.
3 apiece, and Baron coming up.
All right, it's one of those games, brother.
It is definitely.
It is one of those games. 3,000 gold separating the teams, but man, 41 minutes into a game where Drakes are 3-3, I just don't feel like 3,500 gold is truly that meaningful. Like, it's coming down to execution. It's all going to be about who gets their team fight around this next objective, around this Baron. It's Shopify with control over the river right now. Dignitas trying to fire back a little bit as Shopify tries to clear their control wards, hit him with a big piercing arrow, maybe land a couple of electro harpoons. You're going to feel a lot better about trying to move forward and contest them for vision afterwards. Seos in the pit, popping that sweeper, just making sure that there's none of those tricky wards that sometimes people know to place right out of the range of where the common control ward placements are. But we have God vision. We can cheat. We know that there's no red side vision in that top side river. It's not blocked out, except all the way back up there in that very, very top corner of the Baron pit.
Okay, teleport is ready for Srtty, who's pushing out on the bottom side of the map. Shopify here. See, they're going to see if they can actually get it.
Nice job there with the solar flare. Kaine's getting caught out. Palafox goes between worlds, but he jumps back to the other side. Sheiden now in some danger himself. You can kill the enemy jungler. It's going to be big. Seos drops, though. Tomo doing a ton of damage as Sheiden revives thanks to the Guardian Angel, but Fudge is ready to clean up another one. Tomo taken low, taken down. Isles here with the very front line as Fudge is about to lose GA2. Bvoy needs a little bit more damage. He's going in back after Isles, and there's no way out for the enemy support. Shopify Rebellion killed 2, and they don't want to stop there. Palafox jumps in point blank range onto the Flame Spitter, but because he has the Seeker's Arm Guard, he thinks he can outplay it. Srtty still cooks him, makes it a 1-for-1. It's 3 dead on Dignitas' side, only 2 on Shopify. Sheiden lost his Guardian Angel, but his character is still alive, so it would still be a smite fight. Let's take another look at how it starts, because it's crazy start to finish.
Oh my goodness. So Seos trades his ult here really nicely. As he got Seismic shoved in, he got the ult off on Keine. Then Palafox gets a little dizzy there, flashing over, bounces back, hits on the Hex Gate, and then, as you say, first Guardian Angel gets procced here. Fudge goes in. His is going to be the second one procced, but they got Sheiden's flash out, and they got the shutdown onto the Varus in trade for Fudge's Guardian Angel, so that allows Bvoy to walk up and play way more aggressively. They get the lead in the kills. But then Srtty over here, as Palafox feels confident because of the arm guard you mentioned, goes right into the Flame Spitter, but Srtty's happy to use his flash to ensure that he at least gets that trade kill. They couldn't get the Baron though. Yeah.
Robin's reaction.
That's everybody watching this game right now. Oh, what 21 kill, 40, almost 4-minute banger. The Baron was not taken in the aftermath, so we get the return to that party, Flowers.
Back to square one. The party ain't over. The party don't stop. Palafox has brought an hourglass to the party now. The arm guard may have been broken, but he's ready to keep the stasises going. Guardian Angel timers are still going to have a significant amount of time left before those respawn, before those are useful once more. Interesting to also note the final item here in the build for Tomo is the Serpent's Fang. So making sure that he can reduce the amount of shielding on Contractz, on Fudge. There's a lot of potential shields here for Shopify's side, particularly on the front line. So just being able to burst through those, nullify that efficiency, I feel is very, very good. As, ooh, public execution, Fudge jumping in, popping Srtty. That might be the catch right there. Contractz ready to follow it up, jumps in after Tomo. Between worlds from Palafox, Isles is down, and now the follow-up continues. Sheiden's getting dove, and Fudge is going in. A little bit more damage is all they need. Bvoy's got the bullet in the air, and Seos don't care. They'll chase Keine all the way into the base. Shopify just killed 4. It's Tomo against everybody.
Now they're sticking around to finish clearing off these minions as Fudge and Palafox wait to get inside. That tower's going down. Shopify, they're taking down the base.
The Fudge factor finds it. The big public execution to land onto Srtty. They get the huge pick on the Rumble. The Dig cannot scramble to... Fudge, I wasn't done yet. I was trying to give you credit, brother. Tomo with a good snipe. Tomo with a double kill. At death's door, Tomo keeps it locked.
I want to hear what Tomo said. Get him out, chase him down. 1v5 pentakill. Go get the rest of them. Go get them. Here we go, Hex Gates. Somebody's coming.
Oh my God. Okay. Shopify looks like they might still be able to grab this Hex Soul for themselves, but you can see Srtty's coming down with Isles. They might just go in for the equalizer punish on this. Hex Soul already secured for Shopify, for Contractz. Dignitas nearly close enough for the punish on that one, but no, Hex Soul over to Shopify.
Don't count your chickens before they've hatched, Flowers.
I suppose so.
They will remain uncounted because Dignitas now going to start out Baron in trade for that Dragon Soul that was picked up for Shopify due to Tomo's antics here, defending the base, getting 2 kills for Dignitas, allowing Dignitas the hope still in this game.
Okay, it's Hex Soul plus a 5,000 gold lead for Shopify, but Dignitas with the Baron, this is going to buy them time. This could get them to where they need to be. Here's another look at how Tomo defended it, 1 versus 5.
All right, the ultimate, boom, right onto Fudge, lands the arrow right afterwards. That's 1, but he's not done yet. Another arrow, another shot, Palafox.
He 2-tapped both of them.
Yeah,
it was RQ on Fudge, and then it was Q auto on Palafox.
The Srelda's Grudge slow.
Actual Legolas cosplayer. Guy is insane. 5, 3, and 4 here on the Varus. Full build. Those arrows hurt, man. And I talked earlier about how on Dignitas there's no true tank that could deal with the poke that came out from Palafox. But when you look at Shopify's side, it's not like there's anybody that's not Leona that can really suffer those arrows, right? Yeah, Ambessa's got Guardian Angel. She's got high base stats, but nobody's building a ton of defense here. There's all a little bit of armor, but I still feel like we're going to see that type of damage from Tomo for the rest of this thing, and Shopify's got to make sure they're respecting this guy when they go to close it out.
Sneaky, sneaky here. Look at these 2 members
looking
for their pick. The pick
oh no! Contractz in some danger. Shattering Strike to follow it up. He's already used the Hound's Pursuit. He's down! Shutdown credit to Sheiden. Dignitas finding a clutch pick on the enemy jungler 48 minutes into the game. They've got a 5v4 for the next 60 seconds.
Those are the plays that can win you the game. They've got the pick and they've got the Baron to do damage after the pick. See how many towers they can take with this.
Okay, Palafox just trying to keep them away here. Make it scary to face check the brushes. Make it scary to step up a little bit further. That last little Keine minion finally going to die. Baron still active for a little bit longer. About 1 more minute they'll have this. But it is difficult for them to try to commit all the way towards the tier 3 turret here. Fudge and Seos ready to frontline here for Bvoy as they defend. Limited opportunity to do a whole lot here with the short range of everybody not named Varus.
Yeah, Contractz only has 20 seconds left on his death timer, so he'll be back up by the time the next mid wave does get over there. Looks like the power play for Dignitas will be done, but because they have the Baron buff and they're pushing on top side, a little bit of extra pressure. Nobody gonna overstay this time around. 49 minutes into
Minute 49!
game.
Let's give it up for minute 49. 49, Kobe.
Let's
We
go!
are going. This one is going the distance. 15-13, 49 minutes into the game. We got Baron spawning in 3:15, and we've got the Elder Dragon, the great equalizer. The game should end once I die monster.
It's true they have designed the game now, so there should be no chance of 90-minute games. Yeah, it was possible in the past. You know, maybe we'll be able to get close in this one as we constantly trade. Okay, you talked about key abilities though. Guardian Angel procs are back up for both Vi and Ambessa. Here we go though. Poke damage goes down first. Spell shield is gone for Tomo.
Huge. Stopping that spell shield, preventing it from being able to protect him from any kind of the engage combo of Shopify. Could be the difference maker here. They know Tomo is the cannon that they've got to worry about on this enemy team. Although also, Keine now full build on the Taliyah. Again, 3,000 gold, 50 minutes into a pro game. Just does not matter that much. Inhibitor respawning in the mid lane for Dignitas. Isles and Sheiden looking to go in. They want Bvoy. Weaver's wall over the top. Kaine's ready to join in, but he immediately has to pop the stasis as Shopify's ready to turn and burn him. Keine gets back away. True Shot barrage over the top of the lines. Will not finish him off. Nobody from Dignitas falls. Nobody from Shopify falls. But right there, Kobe, I loved the attempt from Dignitas because they didn't want to just play around, stare at each other and fire skill shots for the next 2 minutes. They wanted to see if they could find that catch. Ezreal, however, both summoner spells ready, was getting away, but he was only doing it because he spent those spells.
And it's a bit of a trade since Keine used his flash there as well. Now you have 2 carries on opposite sides that are both going to be the prime targets there. Ezreal won't have flash backup for that Elder Dragon fight, but neither will Keine. Really going to be about who can get into the better position for the engage here.
Okay, 45 seconds on our Elder Drake spawn. I've been informed this is now the longest game so far in the LTA North or South this year. Dignitas and Shopify. Tomo's in some danger. They're going between worlds as he's got to try to flash over the wall to escape. The shield, it's there. It keeps him alive through the damage over time, and Contractz can't close the gap and get on top of him. Now Dignitas scrambling to regroup, protect their AD carry, but they're so far behind in terms of health bars. Palafox is also low, but he'll be able to teleport to recall to join the rest of his team.
Really heads-up play by Sheiden to interrupt there on Contractz. Once the ulti goes off, you can't stop the dog, but while it's channeling, while the beams are locking on, he gave him the bump, actually protected Tomo there, allows for this reset. So here we go again, Flowers. We're still in store for another fight, 52 minutes in.
Seos jumps in, Srtty immediately with the stasis to make sure there's no follow-up. A beautiful seismic shot, but Tomo's on a killing spree. Srtty stays alive, and he's got teleport to rejoin his team again. Tomo staying away, fires off Chains of Corruption, doesn't get a whole lot out of it. Sheiden has to use Vault Breaker defensively. Shopify may have lost a man, but they have control over the Elder Drake pit. Shaiden's got to watch out now. Contractz and Fudge firing back as Bvoy wants a little bit more damage, and Palafox already has the ulti. Shaiden's about to drop, but Tomo's already on a rampage, takes out Palafox. Isles tries to get away. Contractz is eating these guys alive. Keine dies next. Shaiden's running. Srtty's trying to cut the wave. He knows he's got to scramble and pull off something crazy, but the Rumble is down. They're dog food. Contractz is eating good. Shopify Rebellion. It was a bloody one. It was a scrap start to finish, but with their 3-man push, this time it's only a Vi to hold the line, and I feel like that's got to be nigh impossible. Sheiden trying to kill the entire wave. He'll clear out everything, but the next one has already arrived. The ace is there. The death timers are far too long, and in the longest game so far for the LTA, Shopify Rebellion are starting off split 2 with a win.
The smiles on their faces after that one. Oh my goodness. 53 minutes. They're definitely sweating on both sides after those fights in the back and forth.
Awesome stuff from Shopify to start off with a dub, get themselves some early momentum. Yeah, I know it was bloody. I know it was messy. There was some back and forth. There was some punches thrown, some punches landed, some punches missed. But it was a punchy one, man. These guys coming out here. They finally got Seos here on the roster. They got DeMonte on the coaching staff, who's worked with Palafox and Contractz before. I love the fact that they're coming in here hungry. We heard from Contractz at the start of the day that these guys really want to show what they're made of. They didn't like last split's results, and I hope we can continue seeing them put some wins in the column.
100% agree. They came out clearly with the attention. You could see in the early game, they want to be proactive. They wanted to be aggressive, and they were able to